here. We've got ourselves a nice dimir control list here for us today. So let's take a look at it. This is some of that nasty Drago control, the one you fear, the one you hate being on the other side of the table of. So let's get into it. We've got 4 copies of Dress. It's a standard staple for a reason, guys. It's a very good card for 1 mana. Being able to see what your opponent's doing is extremely valuable, as well as getting a card out of their hand. 4 copies of 3 Steps Ahead. It's a solid counter spell. Being able to draw 2 and discard later in the game when we have more mana open is very nice. Sift through the deck, get what we need. 3 copies of Consult the Star Charts. Between Consult the Star Charts and Stock Up, we should be able to find whatever we need in the deck. We should be able to be digging through, looking for the exact tools we need. In decks like this, where I have a lot of sift through the deck type of ability, where I feel like, most games I should be able to get through, let's say 75%, 80% of my deck, running like 1 copy of cards becomes more realistic because the probability that you're actually going to find it is fairly high. So that's something to consider when you're building decks. How much of the deck are you actually getting through in a regular game? And in this game is going to be quite high. Moving on here, 3 copies of Divert Disaster. This is a pretty average counter spell. I'd say below average actually. So counter target spell unless controller pays 2. If they don't, you create a lander token. The ramp is somewhat relevant because Singularity Rupture here, our top end it's 6 mana. 6 mana is fairly expensive, um, so that's pretty nasty. So the lander token can help us ramp. It's a pretty mid counter spell. I might go down to 2 of these and take more removal. We'll see. Feed the Cycle. We lost a lot of our good removal in rotation. So I'm trying out some different removal spells here today, just kind of seeing what I like and what I think is the best. Um, so Feed the Cycle's downside is that you have to pay 3 or you forage, but it does hit creatures and planeswalkers at instant speed, which is really good. So I've been liking this one a lot, that's why I'm running 3 copies. 1 copy of Long Goodbye, so it cannot be countered, including Ward, but it's destroy target creature or planeswalker with mana value 3 or less, so a little bit restrictive there. And 2 copies of Shoot the Sheriff, to destroy target non-outlaw creature. All of these are at instant speed. You could go with the ability, or pardon me, the spell Fell, which is sorcery speed, just destroy target creature. Um, but sorcery speed in a control deck is a no-go. Uh, that's an absolute no-go. It's got to be at instant speed. 2 copies of Cruel Claw's Heist. So Cruel Claw's Heist is obviously very similar to Duress, but for 2 mana, you're getting to hit any card in their hand that's not a land. And of course, you can gift a card to take a card from them, which can be quite relevant depending on who you're playing against. And also, you duress them, you see what's in their hand, and then go, oh, I could steal that, and then you Cruel Claws Heist them, right? So um, they kind of play well together. The other nice thing is that Cruel Claws Heist can hit your opponent off of an empty hand. So if your opponent has no cards in hand, you can gift the card and essentially just steal the top card of their library. Duress can sometimes be a dead card when you draw it later in the game, because your opponent is just drawing a card, putting it on the battlefield, whether it's a land or a creature or whatever. So Cruel Claws Heist is better in that regard, but you pay more for it. 4 copies of Stock Up. Not much to be said here. It's a good spell. Lets you sift through your deck and find what you need. 1 copy of Outrageous Robbery. So this is going to be a little alternate win con here for us today, for whatever reason. Usually when I play like a mill deck, air quotes, or some type of uh, cheesy win con, I always have an alternate, just like backup plan. Like sometimes it's like a planeswalker or like a big bomb creature. You gotta hedge your bets, right? Like we have restless reefs and stuff in here, so we have a couple of ways of making sure that we get there. But yeah, outrageous robbery, so we can pay X and 2 black, and we exile the top cards of their library equal to the X mana cost. And we can do this at instant speed. So if we hold like 10 mana open, which is realistic, right? We're playing a Drago control deck. We're going to be drawing the game out as long as possible. It's very realistic that we'll get to 8 or 9 mana by the end of the game. And we say, Singularity Rupture, right? They have, let's say, 15 cards left in their deck, and we take the top 10 of them. Our opponent's in a very, very bad position, and we could probably finish them off with Restless Reef. So that's why this is in here. It's to make sure that we win at the end. 4 copies of Deadly Cover Up. This deck is running 7 sweepers, which is probably overkill, but it's fun, so we're doing it. Um, Deadly Cover Up is very good because you can collect the evidence and get rid of their win cons, which is really relevant. Those Yuna decks are around. I've seen quite a few of them, and if you can just exile all their Yunas out of their deck sucks now. Same thing with like the mono green decks, like you exile their Tifa or you exile their Mossborn Hydra. Now their deck isn't as good. Um, so I think Deadly Cover Up is pretty relevant in this meta. Something we'll have to be careful of is that when we're collecting evidence that we're not screwing ourselves over for Feed the Cycle, because both of these spells want to exile things from our graveyard. So we will have to pay attention to that today, but that's okay. And finally, last but definitely not least, Singularity Rupture, the entire reason for building the deck. A 6 mana sorcery sweeper. Destroy all creatures. Then any number of target players each mill half their library rounded down. Now, you may be looking at this and being like, it's just a 6 mana sweeper. Like, why would you play a 6 mana sweeper? But here's the thing. What happens a lot is you have some type of win con card, right? Like, let's pretend it's Outrageous Robbery. And you're like, oh, I want to Outrageous Robbery them, but I need to sweep the board. Right? You can't do both. With Singularity Rupture, you do both. You mill them, and you get rid of all their threats. So it's very easy to play Singularity Rupture. Like, every time it hits your hand and you have the mana to cast it, you can just cast it. Because it gets rid of all their threats. You don't have to go, oh yeah, but I gotta hold open, feed the cycle or something. No, just play Singularity Rupture, get rid of it. So I think this card plays a lot better than it reads, and hopefully you'll see that today. We're running 26 lands today. It's mostly just the dual lands I own. Run 2 copies of Fountain Port. Making fish tokens could be relevant. Making treasure tokens could possibly be relevant. 2 copies of Demolition Field. It's important that you run Demolition Field in these type of control decks, these draw go control decks, because if your opponent, for example, has a Fountain Port on the other side, and they just make a fish every turn, they will win the game because they're going to force you to use your removal on a fish that they essentially get for free, and all they have to do is pay 1 life for it, and they will eventually amass enough of an army to kill you. So cards like this are actually very threatening. Mirex is rotated, but that was another one that was really scary. So Demolition Field is important, as well as Creature Lands. Creature Lands are very scary against these types of decks. Yeah, so that's the deck list today, guys. Let's get into it. I'm thinking, I'm thinking this hand's okay. We are going first. I think we're gonna play the swamp rather than the sewers, and get this duress off. Okay, so this guy, this looks like Ugin to me. Seam Rip is unrelevant, so we'll just get rid of the nutrient block. Yeah, this looks like Ugin to me. Some type of like mono white colorless. I actually picked up several copies of this anti-costal vestige. We'll have to build something around it. We'll play the tap land this turn so we can stock up next turn, and more land is wonderful. Okay, opponent picks up another nutrient block. Yeah, this turn we'll stock up. So holding counter spells is going to be important here. We'll grab a watery grave, and we'll actually let's grab a stock up and a reef. And the reason we're grabbing the reef is I don't think they're going to have much removal for it, and it might be a good way to close out the game after we Singularity Rupture them. Okay, we will do this, and we'll hold up the Divert Disaster. Nice. And that's a power that you don't often like think about with Duress. Once you know what your opponent's up to, you are you're able to make more informed decisions about when to. I think we're just grabbing literally both 3 steps ahead. If we don't hit land here, it's fine. Um, Having that knowledge of what your opponent is playing, so that you can make an informed decision about when to play your counter magic, is very big. We are going to. If they have an Ugin in their hand, I want to get rid of it. Extinguish your battleship. Yeah, we'll get rid of that. And we're just going to hold up the counter magic. We're essentially just going to be holding counter magic forever. Um, these types of decks that want to drop gigantic bombs are some of the best decks to play control against. Alright, so we actually might. I think we're just gonna delay, delay, delay. Not that Bahamut is really that scary, but I'd rather it wasn't in their hand before we do a Singularity Rupture. We don't need a second Fountain Port. We will play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we just have full 6. There's no reason we don't need extra mana open. I don't think we need that swamp. I think we're kind of happy with our. All right, and we're just gonna mill them. And all right, so opponent's down to 21 cards on the top of their deck, and they scoop. That happens a lot, honestly. All right, GG. All right, second game here. 4 lands in hand. We have our colors. We have duress. We're going first. We have the divert disaster, which is nice. So we can play like Swamp Island. Yep, this looks good. So we'll duress, and then we'll hold up the divert disaster for next turn. Okay, so our opponent is playing blue-white artifacts, but he's doing it with Abuelo, which is cool. Abuelo is a cool card that kind of goes under people's radar. Um, I think it's World Walker Helm. Yeah, I'll let you guys give this card a read here. So it's a 3 mana flyer, Ward 2. Exile another target creature or artifact you control, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. This guy'd be really fun to play as a commander, right? Just like Blink built into a commander. This is another deck where we're just holding up, not removal, pardon me. We're going to keep that. Pardon me, holding up counter magic is going to be good because he wants to play as Abuelo here, or that. Something that also might be relevant is just deadly cover-upping all of his simulacrum synthesizers. One thing that Dimir is very bad at is removing artifacts, so we have to keep that in mind. Every artifact that hits the battlefield, we are never getting rid of. Never ever. What can we do with Fountain Port this turn? We'll make a fish, because there's no reason not to. We should use our mana to do something. We're going to spin the wheel. Singularity Rupture is quite relevant here. We're already at 5 mana, so we will hit 6 mana next turn, so we don't need to get land here. We're going to get 3 steps ahead. We'll swing at him. The only reason that I'm doing this is just to get cards out of his hand. If he wants to use that, not on my watch, go crazy. If it makes him play suboptimally, then that's perfect. He's afraid of a counter spell. I'm totally fine with this. We're going to have to be really careful about when we play the Singularity Rupture, specifically because of the deck we're facing. Because if we Singularity Rupture and they resolve a Simulacrum Synthesizer, we're going to be very upset. So what we're going to do here is we're going to deadly cover up and get rid of all of them. This is extremely important because this is going to make their deck very, very weak. So we're going to get rid of the other 2 in their library. We're going to get rid of the other one in their graveyard, and we're going to peep there. Okay, so United Battlefront, Pinnacle Star Cage, 1 Repurposing Bay, 2 of those, 2 Get Lost, Not on My Watch, Soul Guide Lantern. Honestly, yeah, we just turned this guy's deck off. And this is what I was talking about in the intro, guys. This is what Deadly Cover-Up will do to people. Yeah, he has to scoop because there's nothing he can do. It's a perfect example of why you play Deadly Cover-Up and the power of that card in specific scenarios, right? That guy just saw his entire win con go in the garbage and he had to forfeit the game because of 1 card. Alright, I just wanted to show this mid video. This is, adjusting as we go. I'm going to add 2 copies of Stab to the deck. I took out one copy of Deadly Cover Up, and I took out one copy of Shoot the Sheriff for 2 stabs. We just ran into a mono white life gain deck and a mono green landfall deck. Both times I was like, man, if we had some type of 1 mana removal spell in our hand, we would have really loved to play it. So we're adding stabs. This is how you adjust a deck for a meta. You know, people are running low cost creatures, so cards like this are relevant. All right, let's get back into the games. Okay, we are in game here. We have removal. This is fine. We're going first as well, which is nice. So we'll play our Temple of Deceit. Take a look at the top of our library. Sure. It is our win con. Um, I think the main, and I'm not going to call it a problem because I don't think that's fair to the deck to call it a problem. Do we want a heist here? Why not? It's not a card I play with a lot, so we might as well just try different stuff. What is the most relevant thing we can do here? Probably just take their bat, right? And use it against them because I don't see removal in their hand. They are playing the Bloodthirsty Conqueror combo, so we'll have to pay attention to that. Oh my! And they top deck a bat. Of course you do. Of course you do. Um, I can't believe that just happened. So they'll probably take a long goodbye here. That's the most intelligent thing to do. So we can Watery Grave and then play stock up, which is probably what I will do. It's gonna be a minute before they grab Verge, I think. It's gonna be a bit before they play their pieces. We'll probably take Bloodthirsty Conqueror. So Starscape Cleric and Enduring Tenacity can both go infinite with Bloodthirsty Conqueror. Oh, sucks. I should have thought about that. We'll play the Reef now. And we'll play Arbat. We will take the Conqueror. So now they have to remove Arbat. I don't think they have any outlaws. That's something we should check. Cleric. This is just a wall. So yeah, it's fine. Okay. I think things are starting to turn around for us here. And we're just going to say no attacks always for the bat. And now we've got the Divert Disaster in hand. Because they'll probably play something on curve. Like, if they get another land next turn, they'll probably play the Enduring Tenacity or the Bloodletter of Aclazotz. And we'll be able to counter it. So this is going to be a lot of delaying. We'll play stock up here. This is a good opportunity for it. Now we need to think about what we need. Oh, it's Deadly Cover Up, obviously. And Feed the Cycle. I don't see a reason to grab a land there. So I want them to waste resources getting my bat before I Deadly Cover Up. So we're gonna hang on to this Deadly Cover Up. Do we get rid of that? I think the answer is no. Yeah, I think the answer is no. Because I actually want this to hit the battlefield so I can exile all copies of it. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's the truth. Because that's how we beat them. There, and then we countered this. Get that out of here. Okay. Now we can hold up counter magic and removal. Okay. We've got a plan here. This is why I love playing control, because you're always thinking, several steps ahead. That's fine. You can have that. Yes, I think these are there's 6 mana to pump, so he can't make them into attackers anytime soon. And if he wants to attack, we'll blast him. We'll use to shoot the sheriff now because you never know. I'm just going my turn. Yeah, and we're just going to lock him out of the game here. Like this. Sure. So if we do this, no, there's no reason to. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of draw go here. Our opponent is screwed on lands. Do we want to counter that? I think we do, right? Ah, no, you know what? We'll just long goodbye it. There, nice. Another counter spell. Draw go. There's Enduring Tenacity. Get rid of all of that because they're tapped out. Draw some cards. Throw the sewers away. Yeah, we can duress here, which is important because we need to know what's in their hand. Unstoppable Slasher, Bloodletter. Okay, they've got a pretty scary hand here. So they have an alternate win con in their deck, which is smart, right? They have the Slasher with Bloodletter. So we will divert Disaster that. No need to play Duress here. Yep, we were worried about this. This was a reality that could happen. We'll just pay the mana and get rid of it. Stock up is a really nice find here. Because what we'd love, okay, consult the star charts matters and feed the cycle matters. So we'll do this at instant speed on their turn. We'll see what they do. And that's why this card is so good in these draw go. Like 9 cards get 2 is crazy for 4 mana. That's such good value. Alright, so we will. So if we pay 2, we can still pay. Or yeah, if we pay 3, we can still pay the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, we can't. So we need to forage, which we will do. So it just needs to be 3 cards. So we're going to make sure that they're the cheapest cards possible. Because collect evidence cares about mana value. That's why we're doing that. And then we are going to consult the star charts and kick it. And we're just looking for Singularity Rupture. There it is. And you know what? We'll get another star charts and try to find the other ruptures. Okay, nice. Another 3 steps. We're looking really good here, guys. So now we're in a position where we can Singularity Rupture and hold counter magic up, which is really devastating for them. $20 cards left in their graveyard. So we need to check here and figure out what they have in their graveyard. If they have a Bloodthirsty Conqueror, which they do, in their graveyard, we can play Deadly Cover up here and get rid of it. The other option we have is to exile the Slashers, but we're not countering this either way. Okay, that's really good for us. That's really good that he did that. So we know what's in his hand. We can counter it next turn, so we're going to deadly cover up here, and we're going to get rid of some of his win cons. Okay, so feed the cycle, this. Actually, let's get a 2-mana spell. Okay, so now we need to think carefully. We need to check. So it's either Conqueror or Slasher. I think it's Slasher because Slasher's coming back next turn. Uh, so he needs to be exiled now. I know I said I wanted to do the Conqueror, but that's the reality. So what do they have left in their deck? Unholy Annex, they have one Conqueror, one Starscape Cleric, a ton of lands. Like half of the rest of their deck is lands. Okay, things are looking pretty good here. They only have a few relevant cards left in their deck, and this is why we exiled it. So now it's not going to come to the battlefield, and we'll end their turn, and we'll hold up counter magic here. Okay, there's one of the lands, and this is, you know, kind of critical mass of Drago control. Our opponent doesn't get to play the game anymore, and I would scoop too. GG, well played. All right, we are in game here. I snap kept before I did my intro. That's on me. Oopsie. Divert Disaster is pretty good. These cheap counter spells are good if you go first, because now we're in this position. They have nothing on the field, and we have 2 counter spells to stop anything they do for the next 2 turns, which is good because that allows us to delay and just get lands on the board without being under threat. That's when these types of cards come in handy and do their most. Yeah, and we can still Divert Disaster. This is very good. We'll get rid of the ghosts. It's not super relevant. Hopefully they play the Enduring Innocence. They do, because now it's going to go in the graveyard rather than getting put back on the battlefield. We... Is there anything we actually want to steal? Or do we want them to just throw it in the garbage? I think I'll just get rid of it. This deck specifically lives and dies by its creatures. Whenever you gain life for the first time, you create a 1/1 white cat token. We can get rid of that. This thing scares me. Let's get rid of that. Oh, roaming throne. Smart. Choose a cat, of course. Alright, and we will consult the star charts at instant speed on their end step. Look for land, and then we'll deadly cover up. So hopefully they play out their hand, which they do. Come on, play that Savannah Alliance. Play that Savannah Alliance, please. Or Leon and Vanguard, that's fine too. So we'll take a hit from roaming throne here, but the hit they're going to take next turn is going to be far worse. Oh, this person's not a cat, so they don't double proc. Alright, and my turn, so do this on end step here. Take a look-see. We'll grab a swamp. We have enough blue sources, and I guess we'll grab another deadly cover-up. Sure. Alright, and we will... Is there anything in their yard that we want to get rid of? Probably the roaming throne, right? Or maybe it's cat collector. Either way, we're getting rid of something. Actually, you know what? We have 2 deadly cover-ups. We don't need to do that right now. We can do it on the next deadly cover-up. I want to see what they play. Okay. Yeah, so I think we'll there is something to be said about taking a hit here, countering what they play, and possibly drawing. Um, and I think we will. HP is a resource, as they say. Sometimes it's just cope when they say that, but I think in this specific situation it does matter. You need to find opportunities to play star charts, right? So this is actually draw 2 here. I know it's like, what, dude, why are you countering this? It's because of the card advantage that it allows them to have. Because they're gonna get a card off of this, and they're gonna get a card off Enduring Innocence. That's why I'm doing this. Stab is actually fairly relevant. One, two, three, four. I'm going to get rid of it though. We need to keep the land in case we find the. Uh, I can't even remember the name of the card. We built the deck around it. The 6 mana sweeper that mills them. Let's see if they play something on end step here. They do not. I think we will deadly cover up now, exiling Enduring Innocence, and we'll get rid of you and a stab. And we'll make sure this guy does not come back. Get rid of that. Okay, so they still have a lot of bombs left. Like, a lot of bombs left. Their whole deck is creatures. And they have an Arabo in hand. So we need to be ready. So we need to find removal here with the star charts. And preferably a sweeper. Oh yeah, preferably a sweeper. Okay. So we'll do this at instant speed. See what they play here. So if we... This is 2 blue. Oh, this is 2 blue too. Okay, so we cannot counter, and so we'll have to let it resolve. Don't have a choice. So this is one of those times where I'm taking a calculated risk, right? I'm saying we're going to go through 7. There's 41 cards left in the deck. I know the amount of sweepers that are in my deck. So this is what you got to do sometimes. You have to be kidding me. Well, I think we lose because of that whiff. Oh my god. Singularity Rupture, my savior. Oh my goodness, that top deck is incredible. Oh, they're probably still gonna have something to play this turn here, but yeah, now we can kind of start working towards an outrageous robbery win condition. Okay, we'll play Demo Field here, and we're gonna tap Demo Field and Fountain Port to preserve our blue mana, because 3 steps ahead requires 2 blue pips. Wow, that's a lot of lands. Okay, we'll grab a Reef. The Duress is actually kind of useless here. We'll grab an island then. And we'll say... Actually... Can this pump? No. He can't pump it. Not with it. Not if I have counter magic. Not with 4 lands. I don't think he can. The only life that matters is the last one, folks. Play Reef. Okay, so we gotta be careful. There are a couple things in our deck that can do damage to us, such as the Fountain Port token and Watery Grave. Okay, shoot the Sheriff. Very nice. Divert Disaster is actually fairly relevant as well. So we'll grab that. Uh, We'll hold up both because we could play like Divert Disaster into Shoot the Sheriff if they play a certain card, and that would be the optimal play pattern. Yep, so we'll get rid of our Rabo here. And we'll get rid of this. And now they don't have a 1-drop, which is awesome. We will Temple of Deceit. Another 3 steps ahead is very good for us. They should be locked out now. There is a world. Let's count our mana here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we'll have 3, 4 open mana. So if we Singularity Rupture next turn, we can hold up counter magic. So I'm going to let this go through. I'm trying to use our cards as efficiently as possible here. Okay, if he's going to do that, now is the time for Outrageous Robbery. 4, 5, 6, 7. We can Outrageous Robbery for 7 here. We will do that. And that's the beauty of having this at instant speed, is you can tap out fully for it, and then just untap for your turn. And they're on 10 cards. We play Island. We Singularity Rupture. Oh, let's make sure we tap our colorless sources. Alright, yeah, and we're holding up 5 mana, which is awesome, because that allows us to 3 steps ahead and draw this card. Alright, and a Restless Reef kills them next turn, because they're going to draw 1 card, and then Restless Reef will mill them for 4. So we just need to counter whatever they play here. Like that. And GG. It is impossible for them to win now. And there we go. All the cards in the garbage. Get out of here. 1 HP in a dream, man. Okay. Next game here. We have decent mana. The 1 black hurts while having Cruel Claw's Heist. The opponent is also going first, and we have no removal. I will actually mulligan this. Feed the cycle. Ugh. Ugh. I don't like this either, but I'm not mulliganing again. I really hope we hit some type of blue land here. Eventually. Another black would be fine too. Okay. We will Cruel Claws here. See what they're doing. Might be a Kaido deck. Oh, looks like someone's playing something very similar to us. We will. We'll hit their stock up. Okay, now that we know that, Cruel Claw's Heist is actually going to be very good for us. Alright, so they're doing some draw go stuff. So we're in a mirror match here. So how do we beat a mirror match? I think one of the things we do is we Demolition Field their Restless Reef. Because that's a mill method for them. There's the Jador. Alright, we're going to get rid of that reef. This is why you take those demo fields. Alright, so he's going to float his mana and use it. Smart. Smart choice. I respect it. And what is more relevant here? It's blue, isn't it? Blue is more relevant here. Because the only reason we need to keep black is for feed the cycle. And the chances of us actually getting use out of Feed the Cycle is pretty low. Okay, so we can actually play the Syncopate cost here, because they can only make it x equals 1. Okay, Duress is great here. Actually, double Duress is fantastic. We'll hold on to it though, because they can Syncopate it out of our hand. Mm. Actually, we should have done it there so they can't do that. What would they play here for 4 mana? Just stock up? Okay, this is fine, honestly. So now they can't Syncopate next turn. So we're gonna go Duress, Duress. This is, see, Duress is actually like a really good anti-control card. Because control decks run a lot of non-creature, non-land cards. Like, see, we can hit their whole hand basically. Um, so we're gonna get rid of Syncopate, and then we're going to get rid of Stock Up. Get rid of their card advantage. I would like to get rid of the Deadly Cover Up also, but we're not there yet. Yeah, see, they've already hit 2 Stock Ups and 2 Consult the Star Charts, so their card advantage is going pretty hard. I'm willing to bet that they didn't draw Counter Magic here. Now, if they did, they did. It is what it is. Okay. I think we just take a land. Outrageous Robbery is a good card. Our opponent might do something at instant speed on our end step. I see they also played another Reef, which is too bad. So really, I think what happens is whoever mills the other opponent first and then exiles all their Singularity Disruptors is going to win. So the goal is we need to hit a Singularity Disruption, then Deadly Cover Up, get rid of all their Singularity Disruptions, and then one guy has a win con and the other doesn't. So we will start charts here. If they want to counter, that's fine. We need to make them have it. We have to get rid of them sometime, and I'd rather they counter this than our Singularity Disruption. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we do need a land here. Okay, I am going to Singularity here. We have to try. If they have been holding their counter magic this long. Okay, they haven't. It wasn't counter magic. Okay, that's really good. So let's take a look at their deck here. Okay, so this is not a Singularity Disruption deck. This is just Dimir control. Um, Alright, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to Deadly Cover Up. And we're going to get rid of their Deadly Cover-Ups. And you might be asking, why are we doing that? It's so that they can't get rid of our Singularity Disruptions. They milled one of our Singularity Disruptions. That sucks. And we'll get rid of one Duress. Okay. So we will get rid of all of their Deadly Cover-Ups. Okay, they just had the one in hand. Let's look at the rest of their library. Okay, they do have one Singularity Disruptor in their deck. Just one copy. Any other win cons we need to be afraid of? Just see, it's just Restless Reef. That's the only thing that can really win them the game, and a Shyok. But we have Planeswalker removal with Feed the Cycle, so I'm fairly confident we can win this. So we're gonna remove their reefs here. If they power them up. Ooh, that sucks. Well, it we should get a card now before it goes in the bin. Let's grab counter magic. It's too bad that they only had one copy and they just found it, but like, what do you do, right? What do you do? Um, and we'll just end the turn. Point ballad. We'll just counter that. Fish tokens actually might become relevant here, so we're going to start making them. Alright, and there's our Restless Reef. And we'll do this before they swing. So we know they have a Shoot the Sheriff. So we need to be ready, because we want to use our Reef. That's just the way it is. We really want to use ours. Okay, we can still kill next turn. We can't counter, but we can remove anything they do. We know they don't have any Singularity Ruptures back in their deck. That's the only thing we would want to counter that we couldn't kill. So I'm fairly confident in this play. So this puts us ahead on the mill game. That's why we did this, because we're 15 and they're 7. So now the goal essentially is just to have more cards in our deck than them. Okay, so they do this. So we forage. Yep, and they know they can't win. And that's how you beat your mirror, right? That's the thing about control, guys. You've gotta understand what your opponent's doing, and you need to stop them. Alright, everyone. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I really like playing Drago Control. It's probably my favorite archetype in Magic to play. I also am a big fan of Mill. I'm also a big fan of Dimir because black and blue, I'd say, are probably two of my favorite colors, along with white. So I really enjoy this type of play style. I think we got some good games here today as well. I think we made some smart plays and we really outsmarted our opponent in a few games, which is always satisfying. That's, I think, one of the reasons that attracts me to Control is this planning ahead and sizing up your opponent. Uh, yeah, I think Singularity Rupture is a really cool card, and I'm gonna definitely be playing with it in the future here. Uh, we did change a few cards by the end. We added Strategic Betrayals and we added some stabs in, and cut out the Shoot the Sheriffs because they suck, honestly. It's really annoying when you have a removal spell in your hand that you can't use. Yeah, but that's been our video today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.